breaking down Lubbock Cooper sports. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the High School Fan Zone on Wednesday night. Last one of the calendar year 2024 will be off the next 2 weeks, back on January 6th. And just a reminder again, the format now is Monday night, the 4 LSD schools. It goes Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and Monterey in that order every week. That is from 6 to 7:30. And I think I misspoke earlier. Wednesday nights will be 6 to 7. That is Friendship, Lubbock Cooper, and Liberty. We're in the Pirate Fan Zone now. And do we have Devin Ramby on the phone? Devin, how are you?
I'm doing great, Randy. How are you?
Thanks for jumping in with me, and good move not being here. I'm wrestling with a sinus infection, and you don't want to be around me right now. The only people who can probably stand me in this condition are my wife and my daughter and my mother-in-law, and they have to. So, but I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you because I did my research coming in. First of all, great spring last year for several of your girls, but recent development here with one of your kids who's one of my favorite kids I've gotten to know. That's Keegan Galmore. Tell us about what she decided and where she's headed.
Yeah, so she recently committed just this past weekend to Angelo State down in San Angelo. She went on a couple visits over Thanksgiving break to Dallas Baptist and Angelo, and we talked about it, and she felt like that was the best fit for her, and so she signed, and she's really excited.
Like I said, that young lady has been around for a while, and there's always a couple of kids from each school where when I do post-game or post-meet or post-match stuff with them, I can just give them the microphone and let them go, and Keegan's one of those. I don't know if she's going to be in media when she gets older, but she has definitely laid the foundation. She knows how to communicate very well.
Oh, yeah, she's got a knack for it, and she's mature beyond her years for sure.
Well, she's had to endure her dad for all those years, so I bet that probably had something to do with it. So I hope he's listening.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that. I'm on my way to a booster club meeting right now with Mr. Galmore, so I'll see him shortly.
He knows I'm kidding. Big brother comes over and does our yard, so I'm the Galmores, and we have a good relationship with them. The last spring, as I mentioned, you guys have been building a monster out there for a while, but last year a pretty impressive performance in one event in particular. And that's what I was doing my research on. I imagine you can guess where I'm headed here.
Oh, absolutely.
Little Lubbock Cooper, which I tell Chip Darden still to this day, whenever I think of Lubbock Cooper back when I was at the AJ in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was just Little Lubbock Cooper, that old country school out there. So I joke with Chip and still call it Little Lubbock Cooper, but it ain't Little Lubbock Cooper anymore. But you go to the 5A state track and field meet, and high jump was dominated by those girls in red and black. Kind of tell people who those two are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it started off back in February. They just started jumping really well. The two girls that really kind of spearheaded that domination was Brentley Preston and Naomi Wine. And once they started hitting those huge jumps, they just never looked back. And I think every single meet we went to last year, with the exception of the Texas relays, those two medaled. And most of the time it was first and second. And if we lost, it was usually to someone on our own team. So I think everyone else is competing for off the podium, because Sarah Goltz also medaled at almost every meet we went to. And so most of the time it was a podium sweep for us. But yeah, Brentley ends up winning regionals. Naomi's runner-up. We go to the state meet, and Naomi just etches her out by just a hair on that Friday, and ends up taking home our first female state champ in 5A history. And then Brentley takes the bronze. And so we have two medalists from the same school at the state meet, which is extremely rare, considering the gauntlet that is Region 1.
Yes, there's no question. I mean, any event, any level, that's rare. You get down to smaller schools, it might be, it might happen. But I want to go back, though. You mentioned it. I want to go back to the district meet. Naomi's 1, Brentley's 2, and then Sarah Goltz is 4. So you guys are 3 of the top 4 there. Go to regionals, and like you mentioned, Brentley's 1, Naomi's 2, and Sarah's 4 again. So same thing.
Yeah.
And then that's just an incredible run.
And Sarah had a real shot to get that third place medal, and we felt really good because we were looking at the other regions. There's a really good shot that if she got third, she was going to get the wild card. And so we were going to send 3 to the state meet because the girl who did end up beating her did get the wild card. So we're shooting this year for all 3 to make it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to be
the
a
thing.
tall task, but
All 3 are back.
Yep, all 3 are back.
That's got to be awfully enticing. We're coming up on a break here. We're going to talk more to Devin Ramby about Lubbock Cooper Track and Field on the Pirate Fan Zone. This is 100.7 The Score.
Breaking down Lubbock Cooper sports. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Pirate Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. Reminder, this is the last one of this calendar year. We'll be off the next 2 weeks, back on January 6th on Monday night with the 4 LISD schools, 6 to 7:30. And then, as we're doing tonight, Friendship Lubbock Cooper and Liberty on Wednesday night. I'm sorry, I mentioned to Devin, I'm in the throes of a sinus infection that has me a little bit loopy. Thank goodness for UMC's drive-through clinic so I could get that taken care of by actually Kate Siegel's mom helped me out. Was Kate a track athlete in her day at Lubbock Cooper?
No, she was not. No.
I know she was a volleyball stud.
Oh, yeah, she's a great athlete. I always wish she would.
Yeah, I imagine she wouldn't have hurt. And not that you guys are hurting now. We talked about your female high jumpers, but then when I had this called up from doing my research, I'm looking at the district meet results. You guys swept. Boys and girls won. And I know the girls wasn't very close when we look at the boys while I scroll down here. Boys was a little bit closer. Abilene High gave you a pretty good run in the boys, but
it took the mile relay to get the boys title, but the girls had it wrapped up after the 2. So we just kind of cruised through the mile and mile relay and kind of already knew it was in the bag.
Well, we've talked a couple of times the last couple of springs. We sat down and talked prior to, I believe, your home meet, which is, I'll let you describe or tell people when that's going to be this upcoming spring. But remind me, how long have you guys? Go ahead.
We'll host on March 6th and 7th, so Thursday, Friday. Everybody pray for better weather than last year. That was one of the colder meets we had was our own home meet. But, come on out. We got 13 schools signed up right now, which will be the biggest pirate relays in history. So
wow,
it should be a lot of awesome competition. A couple of Amarillo schools, Canyon High, Andrews, Bushland. So it should be a really fast, hot track that day.
And for track and field fans in Lubbock, there is no shortage of events to go to because Friendship has the Dawn Black event early on. LISD has their invitational. You guys have yours. So there's always – seems like every week, and I say this from the end of typing in results, which I'm happy to do, there's always something going on track and field in this area in the spring.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to leave town if you don't want to.
Nope.
You can find some awesome competition right here in our own backyard, and that's what's so fun about it.
And when we've talked, I know I should have this socked away in my memory bank, but I don't. Tell me how long you've been running the track program out there, because you've been out. I say this with all respect. You look a lot younger than you have. I don't know how to say that politely.
Thank you.
You're holding your age well. How about that? You've been at Lubbock Cooper for a while.
That. This is my 13th year at Lubbock Cooper.
Wow.
I took over the girls program in 2018 and the boys program in 21. So This will be my 6th and 7th years head. So.
And you coached under and learned under a couple of pretty good guys, if I understand right.
Yeah, I mean, I ran for Joe Sexton and Paul Davis and Alex Solis and got to coach alongside Chip Darden and Max and Ken Allison, who's now the head at Friendship. So I've been around some brilliant track minds and tried to soak up as much as I could, combined with my own experiences. So.
Well, and I get a kick out of Joe Sexton always talking about how he was just an old this coach and an old that coach, and he goes to Liberty and he's just an old football coach and wins state and golf. Yeah. And Joe's one of those guys, and I think because you shocked me last year, I told you this, I didn't realize you coach a little baseball too.
Yeah, I did a year of baseball with Coach Baxter. I did some softball with Landon Winton too. So
wow.
I've been around long enough to kind of do it all. Yeah.
Well, that's going to verify what I was just saying. If you're a good coach, you just coach. Whether it's a ball, a shot put, track shoes or whatever, you know how to deal with kids. If you've been
100%.
doing it for 13 years, you totally know how to speak teenager. I tell my teenager I know how to speak teenager. I don't know if she believes me or not.
Yeah, I know. I feel that all the time. Like, I'm sure these kids think I'm just a crazy old man, but they respond well. And I've been blessed with some crazy good athletes. A lot of times I wish I could take all the credit, but man, some days it really is just driving the bus, get them on the track and let them do their thing.
There's probably a little bit more to it than you're giving yourself credit for. You're going Joe Sexton on me there because that's what he says.
Yeah, I know, right? You can tell who I was raised by.
Yes, he told me last spring he just made sure he had the keys for the van to take them to the golf tournaments and let them take it from there. But I have a hunch there was a little bit more involved. Well, tell me about, besides the three high jumpers and I've seen Sarah on the volleyball court, besides watching those girls in the high jump, that is an incredible athlete. But who else do you have back on both sides coming back in the spring? Knock on wood. Hopefully everybody stays healthy.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. That is, we have two main pillars in our program, and the number one pillar is healthy. We want our kids to be healthy, and the second one's happy, because if they're healthy, they're usually happy, and if they're happy, they'll compete well. And so you're exactly right. The goal is to be healthy come championship season. But man, on the guys' side, we graduated one of the better track classes we've had. And so I think it's going to be fun just seeing kind of who rises to the occasion this season. Deaver's leaving early for Tech football, which we're super proud of him.
Yep.
Graduated Cal Ritz and Ethan Nichols and some other studs on that side, Sipowicz. And so now it's kind of the time for the next generation to show up. And so guys like Kyler McDowell are going to have a bigger role. Preston Jones, once he gets back from his surgery. Josiah Davis. I could go on and on. Deuce.
Some of those football guys, Caden Brown and Carter Gentry, I got to see them in action in that sport. And Caden Brown's he's a unicorn. He's a big, bulky defensive end who also plays quarterback and is a sprinter, correct?
Yeah, he runs quarters.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Call him the quarter cow. But, that's the deal is Carter Gentry. He's been a guy who's been in the big show since his freshman year. And Blake Moore's another one that's going to have to step up this year with a bigger role, too. A little bit
of football. Well, we're coming up on our break here, so we're going to have you come back on and talk a little bit more about the girls. Girls got their attention, though, because you're three high jumpers, and Keegan's not a bad foundation to start with. So thanks for coming on. I definitely want to get you back on when we get closer to your meet in the spring, and we'll talk more about what's going on out at Lubbock Cooper with track and field.
Yeah, absolutely, Randy. Thank you for giving us some time.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good Christmas if I don't see or talk to you.
All right. Yeah, you as well. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All righty. We'll be back after the break with the Patriot Fan Zone. Morgan Glaspie is going to join us by phone, and we'll talk about a big week for her team last week. This is Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score.